Okay, so I guess who are you?
I'm Kutti B. I'm a rapper from Compton, California. Originally born out here in Helena. We moved out there in like 2002. My mother and pops went to prison. Came out here in like 2015 when my mom's got out. And I've been doing this shit. I started writing when I was 12. Worked on freestyling after I got good at it when I was like 16. Ever since I started freestyling, I ain't never stopped. Yeah. That's all I ever wanted to do. So like where I'm from, you got two options. You got trap or rap. And I ain't trying to sell crack for the rest of my life.
That's understandable.
Fucking A.
So you say like Montana and Compton, and that's like two completely different sides of the fence. So were you originally born in Helena, or were you?
Yeah, so I was born here in Helena. And then my mom and pops moved out to Great Falls, and they was cooking dope and stuff like that and started hustling.
Falls is the place to do it.
Yeah, no, for real, bro. And they ended up getting jammed up with one of my pop's friends wore a wire on them.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
they got raided, everything like that. I got carried out by the DEA
How old
and
were you?
everything. I was like 2 years old.
Two, and this was in Great Falls.
Yeah, and then my mom and pops went to prison when she finally got out in like 2013 area. Fought for custody, everything, got the custody back.
Just about.
And it was
That sounds horrible.
it was brutal. Got out here in like 2015. I didn't even want to come back out here, bro. They came up to me and they was like, bro, you gotta go to Montana.
Yeah.
I was like, what you mean? I was like, your mother's out of prison.
It's so much better up here though. Like when in the frame of like staying out of trouble, it's a lot easier here. Like I go to visit all the time. Every time I'm in Vegas or LA, it's like there's too many avenues to fuck up. So
Right.
So Great Falls. How did you end up in Compton?
Because my uncle lived out there.
So you went and lived with your uncle.
Yeah, my uncle, I mean, being a dope baby and all, he's the only one that would take me in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he took me in out there, and I was going through some shit just because being the only white kid in the all black area.
I get that. Yeah.
After so long, I ended up getting jumped, and I had my ribs broke, had rib puncture into my lungs.
How old were you when that happened?
I was about 9.5.
Really?
Yeah.
So did you find like that sounds really traumatic. Did you find like a community, like a group of friends there, or did you always feel like isolated?
I mean, at first I felt isolated, but then after so long, I ended up getting put on into the set that my uncle with the lot of hip hop. Ever since then, I mean, ain't nobody really fuck with me. I started putting in work, earning my shit. And everybody knew better at that point, because they know that when it comes with me, you gonna come to a whole motherfucking set.
Yeah.
And turn it into some motherfucking shit.
Do you like, do you still have like that group? Like, do you ever go back to visit and hang out with your people, or?
The last time I went back was like 2017.
So do you think for you it's probably the best to like avoid that, or is it just?
I mean, yes and no, cause like I know what would happen if I move back. I know I'm going right back into the shit, so I'm getting right back heavy with it, just cause that's who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, I just can't do this shit out here, bro.
Yeah.
Like I need noise to feel that peace. You know what I'm saying? After growing up with nothing but gunshots and sirens and everything like that, you can't feel that peace anymore with quietness. It just makes you feel nervous and uneasy. So like, it don't matter. I'll be sitting there on my porch smoking a square, and I got that pole right with me.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Okay.
Just cause it's too quiet.
So
I feel like someone gonna come
action
up.
for you is where you find your comfort.
Exactly.
So you prefer like a big city then?
Exactly.
Really?
I mean, like I've seen a few people come out here and they're like, man, I love it out here. I'm like, you fucking tripping, bro. I can't do this. The summer too fucking hot. It's too fucking dry.
Yeah.
The people too damn, like, I've met a few cool people. Like I could count on two hands how many people I could count and say is solid that I met in Montana compared to like back at home. Motherfuckers know if they gonna be on some sneaky shit. Like if they gonna do some dirt on you, they just gonna do it. They ain't gonna make it no secret. They ain't gonna smile in your motherfucking face, act like you their brother, and then turn around and rob your ass blind.
Yeah, that's like the small town politics too, dude.
Exactly.
That's what I've noticed, is so small. It takes 10 minutes to get from one side to the other here.
For real.
Compared to big city where it just goes on forever.
Yeah, I mean, bro, down in the city, you won't. I mean, unless they from your area through like a good 3 or 4 block radius, you ain't gonna see the same face more than once.
No, exactly, and that's the thing. Like, especially I think about this all the time, right? With road raging, right? In a town like this, dude, you do some road raging, you're gonna see that dude tomorrow. You're gonna see that dude at Home Depot. You're gonna see him at Burger King. Like, if you're in a city, they just get lost. You forget about them. Yeah. But here, it's like.
No, for real. That's like I had this dude straight up come and follow me home from work on some road rage shit, bro. I ain't even do nothing. Like, he was acting like I cut him off. Motherfucker was like a good football field away, bro. Motherfucker followed me home, wouldn't get up out his car, so I just straight up my shit on him. He just peeled the fuck off. Next day he pulls up. He's a regular at my motherfucking work, bro. He came up. I looked him dead in the face. I was like, I hope you know the next time you come to my house, you follow me home, I'm gonna take a father from their children. And he just looked down. He didn't even say a word. Have a good day. Walks out.
Do you feel it? Do you feel like it's difficult at times to not be good, but just mesh into society?
On a whole other level out here. I mean, out here in Montana is different because, especially coming from California, we the most hated fucking breed in this goddamn
and it's
state.
Living in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
You're living in politics. You're not following the rules. Especially having a set like you said.
Exactly, and that's the craziest thing to me is 'cause I see people out here I'll see people out here claiming Crip, Blood. MS-13, and they all hanging out together. Where
it's like
don't get me wrong, I've seen a few circumstances of when you hire up Nip and YG type of shit, but ain't no motherfucking Foot Soldier Blood gonna be hanging out with no Foot Soldier Crip.
I think it's evolving now. Especially with all the Fenties coming in and shit, a lot of the drug trafficking. I think, especially with Great Falls and Billings, there's definitely areas where we're getting real gang members. But I've been here since I was 12, right? And guys would claim and have rags here, and it's like having a favorite football team. It's like my favorite team's the Blood. It's mine's the Crips.
Right.
Well, I don't fuck with you, but we're friends, and that's really how it was. Small town Montana. Now the demographics are changing. A lot more people are coming up here. So I definitely think there's areas where that's evolving and actually seeing gang shit. But yeah, it's really weird. Especially where I came from, right? When I lived in Vegas, we lived right on the border, right? We lived in this shitty little projects. It was Crips, whole ass Crips. And my stepdad would show up and he would drop off my little sister and he had a red Cadillac. They would freak the fuck out, dude. They'd run up on his Cadillac, dude. They told him never to come back or they would kill him. They made it really fucking clear. And I was just at a young age, I was just okay, that's gang shit. I don't
especially down in Vegas, because Vegas, they're one of the last areas to get the news. When they did the last treaty up. They had this little peace treaty because of some shit that was going on. Motherfuckers down in Vegas, down on the Midwest, down on the East Coast, nobody ever knew about that shit except for back in the homeland. So you still got them motherfuckers out there beefing like a motherfucker, even though the motherfuckers back home, they bro, we chilling right now.
It was 2000.
Don't get me wrong, give it a couple years, we'll be beefing again, but we chilling right now.
And that's what I see a lot of, in places like Chicago, where it's not so much people killing each other over gang shit. A lot of it is over drugs and revenge killings. It's you killed my cousin, so I'm gonna kill your brother. It's a lot of revenge shit, dude. And it's sad. It's really tragic.
Fucking A. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that shit's heavy, man. So did you ever lose any friends then?
I've lost a few. I lost one of my best friends. His name was Thiz. But he ended up getting hit with a bullet that was meant for me. Really? My last day in California, I got shot at in the drive-by, and a bullet literally grazed in between my ear and my head, 1 millimeter to the right. I wouldn't even fucking be here right now. But that bullet went through and went straight into his back. And But he ended up surviving the gunshot wound because I ended up rushing him to the hospital. I picked his ass up, brought him over to the car, drove him into the hospital, and then they ended up fucking repairing some shit. He was paralyzed, but then he ended up passing away because he couldn't get the shit that he needed for the recovery, and the recovery
Just like
took
the
him out.
medicine he needed.
Yeah.
His healthcare system, dude. It's corrupt, dude. Those insurance companies really
Exactly.
make it hard to live.
Especially when you in them inner cities, cause ain't nobody give a fuck about us out there.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, when it all comes down to it, like we the only ones that got our own backs. Like, there's a reason ain't nobody fucking trust no damn police. Hell, you out in Compton, motherfucker, try like some innocent bystander called the cops cause they just seen a murder or some shit, bro. They ain't showing up for 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
At the minimum.
And they don't, like, I feel like, too, it's like, part of it, you know, they're understaffed. No one wants to work there.
Right.
Just like Georgia, like, Atlanta's having the same issue because they're like, I don't want to do this. Like, this isn't, like, this money is not worth it to me. Why would I want to be a cop when it's like, there's not enough?
Real.
No
And
one wants to do
especially
it.
because, like, there's so much corruption in that motherfucking system. And especially, like, if you was a young man trying to go into the police academy to want to make a difference, with how much corruption is in that thing, ain't no way you're going to be able to.
Yeah.
I mean, for every one good cop, there's at least 5 corrupt ones.
Yeah, there's this issue where I think a lot of it is ego. A lot of it is wanting power, and, you know, when you see a really, not necessarily easy, but a traditional way of getting yourself in a position of power where you can abuse it. I think there definitely needs to be some reform with like mental health screenings.
No, for real.
Because there's a lot of narcissism that gets involved in certain.
Real shit.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So when you think about like, you know, that shooting you went through, do you feel like there was something like a divine intervention, or how do you?
Honestly, it just made me want to get my get back.
Yeah.
Some shit that happened right before I went out, and then I left out there, so I ain't heard exactly what happened afterwards. But
yeah, it was honestly probably for the best. It's probably a blessing you got out of there, man, because you know, you probably could have ended up in a coffin yourself and shit like that.
Yeah, for real. I mean, that wasn't even the first time that something like that happened. Like 2.5, 3 months before that, I was fucking with this chick at the time. I've been fucking with her for a minute. And she hit me up. She like, hey, my parents are gone. Come to my house. Like, leave your shoes at the door. Whoop-de-whoop. I'll be waiting in the room, whatever. I come in, and I get in there. I walk into the room, and knife right to my motherfucking chest, hit right here.
Damn.
And then the next day, they try to hit me with the scalpel through my gut while I was in the ER, the ICU. So I was laid up in the hospital for, I was up in there for like a good 3.5 months. Right after I got out is when that drop-by happened. And then I ended up going back to Montana. My mother finally got the custody paperwork and everything filed out, and they put me on the shit back there. It's like 2 days after that fucking drop-by happened.
That's a blessing, man.
Yeah.
It really is. Like,
It
even
was
though
some
you missed the
crazy shit.
sounds and the thrill of the city, it sounds like you were able to come into a position where at least you're safe. You might not feel secure and safe, but you're definitely doing a lot better.
Fucking A. Yeah.
So, with your background, what sparked that interest, and was it just writing and music, or were you also artistic, with drawing and?
I mean, I ain't never, so I used to draw, but I was never good at your usual drawing, you know what I mean? Like I couldn't draw pictures of people or stuff like that. It was weird, cause what I would do is I would draw a bunch of little ass lines right across this whole sheet of paper, and it would take up a whole sheet, and you wouldn't know what the fuck it was all the way up until it was completely done. And then by the time it was done, it was such a clusterfuck that it looked dope. Yeah.
But that's your style.
Right, exactly. And then after so long, I started realizing, I started looking at listening to music, rap music, watching the music videos and everything. Started seeing how
What
far
was,
along.
what was the first music video you remember? Sorry, I got ADHD, man.
No, you good. The first music video I ever remember watching was Tupac's Dear Mama.
Really?
Yeah.
That's dope.
That shit hit hard because at that point my mom's was in prison, so I didn't have nobody to talk to, nothing like that, nobody to call my mom. Like I had my uncle, but like my uncle was deep in the shits, you know what I'm saying? So like he can only do so much up until I get put on, and then I be doing the same motherfucking shit. But like so that shit hit me the hardest. Is like watching that video, knowing that someone else knew the struggles of not having his mom's around. Like, even though, like, she's trying to do shit to be there. You know what I mean? Because, like, I know that she wasn't hustling just for the fucking fun of it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, she had me, her, and my dad in a little fucking studio apartment. Fucking just trying to make it. Crazy, though. I'll give her one thing. Out of all of the years she was tweaking, she always maintained a motherfucking job, bro.
Damn.
She worked.
So she was a high functioning tweaker.
She was what we call a closet tweaker. Like she straight up, she would geek out, show up to work on time, never late, nothing. Come back every motherfucking day, bro. Damn. And she worked.
That's honestly impressive.
No car, nothing. She walking like 5-6 miles to work every fucking day. Gacked out. Like, damn.
That's...
This shit blew my mind. And then my fucking pop's friend came over doing some shit, had a wire on him, got their whole fucking operation blown the fuck up. Like, when they raided, my pops was literally in the middle of cooking. Like, he was pulling out a fresh fucking tray of shit when the DEA kicked through the door. It was
bad
crazy.
timing, man.
That's what I'm fucking saying on a whole other level. The DEA kicked through the fucking door. First thing I did was I ran into my parents' room trying to go through the fucking drawers.
You said you were a toddler, weren't you?
Yeah, I was like 2.5 years old. So like, I started walking when I was like 1. I was a genius baby, bro. I was a fucking genius baby, and then somewhere along the lines just went straight retarded. Cause like, bro, like I'm talking like I was able to maintain a full motherfucking conversation by like 8-9 months old.
Really?
Yeah, bro. Like was sitting there walking, running, and everything by like 1.
You're like, I'm working on my thesis, mom. Get out the fucking field. I'm trying to go to college, man. For real.
But like I was walking by like 1, so like this shit happened. It was like 2.5.
Yeah.
And so like feds kicked in the door, and I already knew that they had some pieces in there. Cause like obviously like my parents are fucking deep in this shit. They cooking and selling, so obviously they always stay strapped up. Obviously, I ain't know what it was for exactly, but I knew what it was for, you know what I mean? Like, I knew that was protection. So, like, first thing I did when I heard that fucking door kick in is I ran right into their room and started going through the drawers trying to find their pistol. And then, right as I'm going through their fucking drawers, this fucking agent come pick me up over the shoulder, said, "This gonna be the last time you ever see your parents," and walks out.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, so I fully
hear,
thought I was never gonna see my mom and pops again. Fuck it. Then she got out, got custody back, and it was kind of a blessing, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, I don't like it out here.
Yeah.
I miss the city. I miss that beautiful LA weather. You know, like,
it's gorgeous.
You come out here, bro, I'm talking, it's just ungodly. Like, the summers are too fucking hot, the winters are too fucking cold. Like, I'm talking, like, this dry-ass heat, bro. Like, 70 degrees out here is what it feels like 110 in California. Yeah. Like, it's, like, California gives it that nice, cool breeze when you right on that ocean level.
The worst sunburns I've ever gotten have actually been here.
Exactly. Bro, I never sunburned in my whole life in California. I come out here and I finally got sunburned.
It's true.
How fucking weird is
like
that, bro?
No, it really be like that. So, take a few steps back. So writing, was it the Tupac, was that what inspired you to start writing, or what?
So Tupac inspired me to start doing poetry.
Okay.
Because I knew that I started doing some research into Tupac. Because after I first heard that song, I just started listening to everything, anything I could fucking find about him. And then I started doing more research into him and found out that he wasn't even a rapper at first. He was actually a fucking poet. Dude went to art school for poetry.
Baltimore School of the Arts.
And so I was like, all right, cool. So I started doing some poetry, trying to get some shit off my mind, get some shit off my chest and everything. And then out of like the midst of doing that, I started like thinking of like this drum pattern. I don't even know what influenced it, but I started thinking of this like drum pattern in my head. And I just started like putting my poem to the drum pattern. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This sounds nice.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, you know what, fuck it. Let's turn this from a poem into like a 2.5 page fucking song. And then just wrote my first rap off of that. And I was like it wasn't great by any means, but like, it was great to me back then.
Yeah.
So fucking, I'm sitting here rapping this shit, and I'm like, oh, this sounds fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't heard something like this before. So then I started putting together pieces of my poems. I started adding on to my poems and making poetry songs. And then after that, I started listening to people like Tech Nine, Chris Calico, and all them. And then that kind of made me want to do like the speed rap, the chopper shit. So like I started writing out shit like that, and ended up getting real fast with it. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. Wrote for like 1.5 years longer, just trying to progress my skill. And then I was like,
sorry, bro. That share sucks, man. I'm sorry.
no, you good. And I was like, now I want to try freestyling because everybody keeps telling me like, oh, if you want to be a rapper, you ain't shit unless you can freestyle. So I was like, man, that don't make no sense. I've heard so many rappers that can't freestyle,
Yeah.
but fuck it.
It's always written, dude.
Right, for real. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I shut them up. I'll teach myself. And then I started teaching myself how to freestyle. And what I would do is like, first off, I started with a sheet of paper and I wrote one word. And I would write every single word that I could think of that rhymed with it. And then I would turn around, move on to the next word. I'd go through every single one for the alphabet. So far, the only one I couldn't think of was fucking X. Words that rhyme that start with X. It's the only ones I couldn't think of. And then after that, after I started doing that for a couple days, then I started like trying to teach myself into like a mental thing where like when I talk, I think of 3 words in the back of my head that rhyme with everything I say. And then I turn around and after that, I finally started like putting it together with beats and shit.
Created like a search engine, essentially.
Exactly.
The words you're rhyming with.
Exactly. And so like that's why like motherfuckers will swear on their life that when I do like freestyles over chopper beats that they're written. But no, like that's just how fast my head operates. Cause like I got ADHD, OCD, ADHD, every fucking thing that you could possibly fucking think of, flowing through my motherfucking head all at one time. So it's like that's the only way that I can actually get my head to slow down and process what I'm thinking.
Word.
Yeah.
That's sick. Speaking of like Tech Nine and Chris Calico, didn't you released a song with Chris Calico recently?
Yeah, I have a song right now that's released with them called "Drink You Off of My Mind." I actually wrote it about my wife, and I got a total of 8 songs that I'm working on with Chris Calico.
Really?
Yes, sir.
So how did that collaboration start? You know, like a lot of young artists, like when they're first starting out, it can be kind of intimidating trying to come about getting a feature like that. So what was that process like for you?
I actually ended up getting hit up by Chris Calico's producer, Wishmaster, and he hit me up and he was like, "Hey, bro, I got something I think you're gonna be interested in." Whoopie whoopie whoop, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a scam," but I was like, "You know what? Fuck it. I hear him out. I see what it is." And like I think all in total, I paid like $300
Really?
for, it's like a total of 8 songs. It's 4 verses and 4 hooks.
Damn, that's a crazy good deal, man.
That's what I'm fucking saying.
So have you had direct contact with him then, or?
So I haven't had direct contact with Chris Calico yet, but I've had direct contact with Wishmaster, his producer.
Word.
So right now my next step is getting into direct contact with Chris Calico, because I want to do another song with him, but more on a more deeper level. Because Chris Calico's music has brought me out of a lot of dark places. Like between his songs, Hello Walls, Scars, Stop the World, like it's put me through. I was going through some shit, and it ended up talking me out of some things.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. So I want him to go in on me with the like a deep level song, a song that I can actually touch somebody with.
So are there any other like collaborations you've done, or are you not allowed to
So,
speak on that?
Right now, I'm actually working on. I just got a collaboration with Gucci Mane, Jadakiss, Juicy J from 3-6 Mafia, and Cameron that I'm working on right now.
So was it like the same thing where you talk to the producers first?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of these, a lot of my features that I've been, like a lot of their producers be sending me emails being like, hey bro, I got something I think you might be interested in if you're looking for an opportunity type of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what, fuck it.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out which light works.
You're good, bro.
Which one will work it?
Like half of them, like I had Exhibit's producer send me a verse, and like.
Is Exhibit still putting out music? I thought he kind of took a break.
Yes and no.
Got you.
So he's doing a cash grab right now, bro. Because like I was on the Google Duo call where he was recording his verse, bro. Tell me how this motherfucker was sitting down and missed his beat drop by a second and a half.
Really?
Yeah, bro. It's bad. Like I'm talking like I almost thought that the producer fucked it up because of how bad it was.
Damn.
Like it was like a full second and a half after the beat drop that he started his verse in.
Weird.
And like so
are you ever gonna put that out then, or is that kind of out of the?
Oh, I didn't even buy that one, the Exhibit one. I just said nope. It was a
You're
throwaway.
just shopping around then.
Exactly. Cause I don't get me wrong. I'm definitely all in for collaborating with a bigger artist name, even if he hasn't released music in a long time. Like I got a feature with Young Buck too. But I have to sign my LLC and everything.
Yeah, G Unit's kind of.
Don't
been a while.
fell off.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
It's been a while.
But so but I gotta get my LLC and everything signed off right, so that for the contracts and everything like that for me to be able to release.
So you get like royalties to the music.
Exactly. But especially with the whole thing that he got going on with 50 Cent. So that's another thing that got me holding out on that release.
You know, that's like a pretty impressive, for starting out, collaborations. Do you have any dream collaborations you want?
I got a couple actually.
Like what? Like give me 3.
So,
give me
3. 3. My first one, I'm actually one step closer to, because I just found this dude on Facebook and sent him a friend request and he accepted it. So I'm working on putting together a track. I'm not gonna approach him until I got the project done. You know what I mean? Done and ready to just send off to him. But Cut Calhoun from Strange Music. He ain't with Strange Music anymore. I think he has his own label now, Black Gold Entertainment. But I want to try to work on getting a feature with him set out, because he's one of my all-time favorite artists out of Strange Music. All time. Like, when he left, I stopped listening to Tech Nine. I ain't even gonna lie. But that's also not just because of Cut Calhoun. That's because I don't really support what Tech Nine was doing to his other artists. The same reason why Scatterman, Snug Brim,
Were they
Chris
pulling
Calhoun,
kind of a
all
young
them,
money on
man.
them, where they weren't getting compensation like they should?
So it's not necessarily part of it, but the biggest part was they weren't putting enough effort into their projects.
Yeah.
You know, like Scatterman and Snug Brim left because of the fact that like Travis O'Gwen was only investing money in Tech Nine and Chris Calico's music videos. The majority of their music videos was promoted for them.
The rest of the artists were just.
The rest was
Oscar,
like,
was it?
yeah, the rest was like getting pocket change to go do their music videos and everything with.
Probably having to pay for them to be done too. too.
Exactly. So it's like I can't support that, especially with Cut Calhoun. That was one of the biggest fallouts that he had, cause I was a huge Strange Music fan. But Cut Calhoun was one of the biggest fallouts he had, and it's like, how can you do that to Cut Calhoun when that motherfucker was with you from the beginning? You know what I'm saying? Like, he was back there creating dance moves with you on your motherfucking back porch before your label was even a fucking thought. Like,
Yeah.
how you gonna do that to your day ones?
Yeah.
And I don't understand that. So I don't even listen to Strange Music no more.
Fair. So like, who else? Cut Calhoun.
So Cut Calhoun, D4M Sloan.
Never heard of him. D4.
He's an East Coast rapper out in Philly. So I wanted before. So it was Sloan and Sciano, but sadly, rest his soul, Sciano ended up passing away. So now it's just D4M Sloan. But that motherfucker is the first new age, like the new age East Side rappers that I ever started fucking with. After I started listening to Sloan and Sciano.
I can see you listening to like West Side Gun. You ever check West Side Gun? Oh, he's good, dude. I'll put you on to some stuff. I got
I'll peep him out. Yeah, I started listening to him, and then I got turned after Sloan and Sciano, turned on to Simpson Tenor, and then Simpson Tenor turned to Chef G and Sleepy Hollow. I figured out they got some monsters on the fucking East Coast roster, bro. But D4M Sloan, one of the hardest, and that I gotta say that's also one of my most wanted features.
Right.
Yeah.
One more.
My third always gotta be the guy Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne.
Like, when it all comes down to it, whoever the fuck you are, whether you like rap or not, you gotta give Lil Wayne his fucking respect.
Yeah, he deserves his roses.
Come on, this motherfucker got so many fire ass bars he don't even remember some of his own. Like I seen the video, he was doing an interview, and the interviewer recited some of his bars back to him. And he was like, bro, that shit's fucking tight. Who is that? He's like, that's you. That's me?
Like, Wayne's discography is kind of disgusting. When you look at like his studio albums, there's his studio discography, and then there's the mixtapes.
For real.
And he's deep with the mixtapes. There's so many Wayne songs that, like, I guess you could say are niche, like only a certain group of people fuck with. But mixtape Lil Wayne is something else.
Oh yeah, he's a fucking monster.
Yeah, like the Sorry for the Waits or
the No Ceilings 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Come on, I literally, bro. I literally taught myself how to freestyle over a beat to Watch My Shoes from No Ceilings.
That's a good one to learn.
That's what I'm fucking saying. The beat, just the flow and the melody to it. Like, if you ever want to learn how to fucking freestyle, look up the Watch My Shoes instrumental. For one, just the hypeness of it is gonna make you start thinking of things right off the motherfucking jump. You don't even have to know how to rap, and it's gonna make you start thinking of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just one of the powers of Lil Wayne's music with his beats and his influence when he does his shit. So I think he by far one of the highest too. Gotta be in that top 3.
That's a good one. So with your music, what genre of rap do you consider your music? Because I kind of see like shades of like R&B in there too for some of your choruses, and then I'll see like I kind of will get like some of a G-funk influence, like modern stuff, kind of like The Game, and then some drill too. Like there's some anger and energy in there, like drill music. So like, what do you kind of consider it as?
And that's the thing. I don't consider myself as one style. That's why you pick up so many different notes. I'm just different. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing that me and my label OVK Music is here to set out. We ain't gonna be that type of people that you can be, oh, he's a drill rapper. He's a trapper. You ain't gonna be able to do that. You ain't gonna be able to say he's an R&B type of motherfucker. Ain't nobody here is gonna sound the same on any of these songs. Right. So that's it. That's the thing. Like, people ask me what type of genre I am. I'm OVK.
Yeah.
That's the only way to describe it. I mean, we had an article wrote out, and even the article was saying like music is too good to classify
Just
into one
diversity.
genre.
Yeah, that's good. So, music wise, do you know, once you've got your OVK sound, right? With future projects, do you want to keep the same sound, or do you just want to keep evolving with time? Like what?
See, the way I look at it is if you try to keep the same sound in this music industry, you never gonna make it. This industry is changing faster than anybody could ever fucking think of. I mean, shit, just last year you had mumble rappers blowing up, and now everybody thinks mumble rappers is a disgrace.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's like you never know what the next thing gonna be. So we just gonna keep on with the rhythm, keep the flow. Cause the biggest thing is as long as we doing us, motherfuckers gonna have to fuck with it. Cause ain't nobody doing the same shit we doing.
Well, I got one last question. If you were trapped on an island and you only had 3 records for the rest of time, rest of your time alive, what 3 records would it be?
You talking my records or others?
Any records. You only get 3 of them though. You're trapped on this island, 3 for the rest of your life.
That's a good fucking question right there.
You get 3 records.
You know, 3 records. I would have to say No Ceilings 2 EP from Lil Wayne. The Redheaded Stepchild album from Cut Calhoun. A third one. That's a good one. Honestly, I think I'd have to say the Beast Mode EP from my own.
Really?
Yeah, cause it's just too diverse. Like, not a single song on that whole EP sounds the same or even remotely similar.
Word. I respect it. You got flying head.
I was wondering what that
Here,
was.
I got you. Fucking flies, man. I'm sorry, dog.
Nah, it's all good. It happened.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate it. It's been real.
Fucking A. So what you doing next weekend?
Shit, I don't know, man.
June 2nd and 3rd, I'm headlining my first show out here in Helena at the Lux nightclub.
Was it June?
June 2nd and 3rd,
June 2nd.
the Lux nightclub in Helena, Montana. You gonna see me main headlining on the 3rd. And then June 2nd, we have a multi-platinum Jamaican artist. He's only been in the country for 2 weeks.
Word.
Headlining on the 2nd.
Alright, and then drop your socials too.
And then if you want to follow me, I got Kutti B on Facebook, Kutti B3105 on Instagram, and then Kutti_B on TikTok. Give me a follow, like and subscribe.
Word.